I was living in New York City, surviving as a working actress, singer, and choreographer. I bet I walked past that digital debt clock in Times Square 1,000 times. And yet, I had no real concern over how far in the red we were. My apartment was barely 60 blocks north of the spot where the Twin Towers fell on 9/11. I felt little fear for our national security. I didn't have health insurance. There were no daily debates with friends or colleagues over possible solutions. Oh, but I was very aware of the Monica Lewinsky scandal. This complete lack of morals was nothing more than a joke in the industry that I worked in. I knew it was a responsibility and a right for me to vote. But I only did maybe 3 times. Sad story of a very typical American. Well, now, let's flash forward to Halloween evening of 2009, just this past fall. I find myself in an old, vacant bank in downtown Canastota, New York. The last trick-or-treater just took the rest of the candy, and I still have a mountain of emails to respond to, a last-minute meet and greet to arrange for the following day, and a 9 p.m. campaign conference call. This is the Doug Hoffman for Congress campaign headquarters that I had opened only 2 weeks prior. How did I get here? Well, in only 3 more days, I was going to vote for the 4th time in my life. But I'm 36 years old, and this is only the 4th time I ever voted. And yes, our one headquarters had over 10,000 volunteers. Doug got 46% of the vote, starting out as a complete nobody. And this campaign paved the way for all future grassroots campaigns. So how did I get here? Quite simple. I started a book club. That sounds kind of boring. But what about rallies and protests and... Oh, now those definitely have their place, but follow me for a moment. God got my attention with the bank bailouts. That was my tipping point. Oh, I got mad. Now, not mad enough to actually do anything, but mad enough to at least start paying attention. I started reading different books and blogs and listening to different TV reporters and radio shows, and holy cow, who has that kind of time? Really. But also half of what I was hearing or reading was not making much sense to me. I needed a sounding board. I wanted to discuss these new ideas with others. So I began a community book club out of my home in Canastota to study the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Federalist Papers, the biographies and writings of our country's founding fathers in a group setting. Now, I understand that a single vote has minimal impact, but imagine for a moment the difference between an entire population or even just your neighborhood making decisions from a position of knowledge and understanding versus a population that is steering their destiny from blind ignorance. Knowing the principles of American government is the responsibility of the individual to our society as a whole.
Right. Absolutely right.
Now, a continued refusal to accept this responsibility is pure laziness. So not wanting anything to do with the title lazy, I started a book club. So now, what is a book club? It's a group of 4 to 10 people meeting once a week, all reading and discussing the same subject matter with the intent to educate themselves. We started in our living room. The first night, it was just my fiance and me. But we had made a commitment to hold book club no matter what. Now, the next week, our neighbor Ray joined us. By the end of the summer, when 14 people showed up, we moved to the local American Legion as they offered a larger space. Living rooms, libraries, VFWs, coffee houses, volunteer fire department halls, they're all perfect locations. We met on Monday nights and then ended up changing to Thursdays because that accommodated more people's schedules. So now how do you get involved? We've got 2 choices. Either join an active book club in your area or start one yourself. Looks like we're going to be starting a lot, aren't we? So how do you start? Well, first, pick a day and time that works for you. Call your friends, neighbors, church members, co-workers. Invite them to come and invite them to invite others. Post on your local meetup site or Craigslist. Type up a blurb for your area bulletin board, the library as a bulletin board, or your convenience store bulletin board. However you want to get the word out. Now, a couple suggestions to make it go as smooth as possible. Have a moderator. A moderator is someone who helps the group stay on topic. Now, folks might want to discuss current politics instead of the book at hand. Allow time afterwards for that type of conversation, but stay focused on the material first. Now, you don't need to provide coffee or snacks, but you can if you want to. My cooking's horrible. I don't even make coffee. So keep pets and young children in another room. Now, however, if the child can play quietly to the side, or if the kid is of an age where they can grasp some of the concepts, well, by all means, have them present. Be specific with how many pages you're going to discuss the following week. We rarely do more than 10 pages. We're all very busy, and we actually want to take the time to dig in and learn this material from all angles. 90 minutes, good luck. If you get chit-chatty, it's 2 hours, but just to give you an idea. And now a great starting place is the 5,000-year leap. Now, we were lucky enough to select this book for our first book club, and it lends itself perfectly for study. It's not political. Rather, it focuses on the principles of government. The 28 principles our founding fathers used to create our great country. Also, the title is pretty interesting, 5,000-year leap.